Coming up next on Behind the Badge, a final ride as a longtime career comes to an end. Detecting gunshots, new technology to help fight crime. School safety, first responders take part in active shooter training. And cracking down on speeders. Those stories and a lot more. Behind the Badge starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Larry Flowers. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Badge, an inside look at news and newsmakers of the Murfreesboro Police Department. Our lead story. There have been recent threats made to schools all across the country. Here in Rutherford County, first responders took part in an active shooter training, making sure they are prepared to respond if need be. It was a full-scale active aggressor training exercise at Siegel High School to prepare first responders for the real thing. The training, led by Rutherford County Emergency Management Agency, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, and Rutherford County Schools, was as real as it gets.
We're proud of our SRO's heroic and swift actions who risked their lives.
The scenario involved two active shooters opening fire inside the school, killing and wounding multiple people. Law enforcement agencies entered the building without hesitation.
We thank the responders who did their best to save lives today. While this is an exercise, this training shows our countywide commitment to protect our precious children and school staffs.
Teachers and staff from all county schools played the part of victims, while others stood by as observers, taking notes. Firefighters and paramedics also participated in the training exercise to tend to the injured. Ambulance after ambulance transporting casualties to the hospital. Actors playing the role of students evacuated on school buses, transported to a reunification area away from the school.
Students will be released from Siegel High School and transported to the Miller Coliseum as soon as we are able to get that done.
We ask all parents and guardians to not go to the school, but to go to the reunification site.
Meanwhile, across the street at a media staging area.
I want to reemphasize that the school resource officers were in the building when this happened and they responded immediately. They locked down the school.
Public information officers, reporters, videographers, and photographers took part in a mock news conference.
In this active shooter exercise, the result was several injuries and two suspects that are now deceased. We're mourning today these high school students and teachers whose lives are going to be forever changed.
We just want to reiterate to parents how grateful we are for their patience today as we work through this. We know it's a difficult situation.
Now that school is back in session, first responders who took part in this training exercise are hoping they will never have to put what they've learned into use. First responders from all over the county and Middle Tennessee participated in the training exercise. Have you had an opportunity to listen to our public safety podcast called 10 Code? If not, you can download it wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You may have already seen poles with gunshot detection sensors going up across Murfreesboro. They're the latest technology that's part of our real-time crime center. Within 60 seconds or less of a gunshot being fired in Murfreesboro, new gunshot detection technology can pinpoint the location, oftentimes alerting officers before 911 calls are made by residents, leading to police getting to the scene quicker.
Ultimately, the goal with these devices is to increase response time by our officers, potentially locate any victims that may need medical assistance, preserve evidence, and hopefully increase our chances of identifying and apprehending suspects.
Installation of gunshot detection sensors are currently being conducted in Murfreesboro. Some are on standalone poles, others on existing infrastructure, and others on poles with automatic license plate readers.
The vast majority of these devices are going to be installed on city right-of-way, and there are a handful that will be installed on private property, and of course that was done with the permission of the property owner.
The gunshot sensors are so precise they can distinguish between actual gunshots and other loud noises.
These devices have about a 90% accuracy rating in detecting gunshots. They're capable of differentiating between fireworks, a car backfiring, and incidents of gunshots.
As with all current technologies in our real-time crime center, like automatic license plate reader cameras, public safety cameras, and now gunshot detection, privacy is top priority.
These devices are only listening for sounds that meet a certain threshold, and they are not listening to conversations or voices or anything like that.
The location of the gunshot detection sensors is based on data collected by crime data analysts.
The location of these devices was based on years of research and crime data related to incidents of shots fired in our city. And of course, if the data that we're getting from these devices does not support them being in the original location, we are able to relocate them as well.
We do want to stress once again, these sensors only detect the sound of gunshots and do not record voices. The MPD Traffic Unit partners with the Tennessee Highway Safety Office and other law enforcement agencies in the county as part of the Rutherford County Traffic Safety Task Force. Recently, the task force took part in Operation Southern Slowdown, a multi-state mobilization to get drivers to pump the brakes.
The purpose of Operation Southern Slowdown traffic safety campaign is to increase speed enforcement on major highways and high-risk locations during travel period when the rate of fatal crashes is the highest throughout the Southeast. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the number of fatal-related crashes in the NHTSA Region 4 states increased by 14% from 2018 to 2022. The 5-state NHTSA region states include Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Simultaneous press events are taking place as we speak across all these states.
The dangerous speeds motorists travel on these roads through both urban and rural areas have proven deadly in 2024. So far this year, there have been 591 fatalities, 85 of which were contributed to speed. That's one speed-related death every other day. Since January 2022, nearly 18,000 speed-related crashes have occurred involving injuries or death. Drivers must make better choices to reduce these statistics.
In Rutherford County in 2023, there were 667 crashes, with speeding being the main contributing factor, and there was 5 fatalities. In 2024 to date, there have been 282 speed-related crashes and 1 fatality. In the last 4 years, Rutherford County has ranked first in the speeding as a contributing factor to the state's crash rankings. This is an effort by us and our law enforcement partners in the THSO to reduce the fatalities and to reduce the crashes in Rutherford County. And it's our pleasure to participate in this.
We have an excellent working relationship with all of the law enforcement partners in Rutherford County, and we team up often to try to impact driver behaviors and contributing factors to crashes to hopefully keep more people on our roadways safe. You've already heard how much speed can contribute to a crash, whether it's a property damage, injury-related crash, or a fatality. We've seen, not only in Tennessee, but nationwide, it's almost a 30% chance that speeding will be involved in a lot of those types of crashes. I also would like to point out that sometimes the speeding can lead to careless driving or reckless driving, which then leads to sometimes road rage incidents and things of that nature. So just nothing good comes of speeding, and we would just ask all of the community to please slow down, stay focused on the roadway, and please don't forget to buckle up.
The purpose of the 8th annual Traffic Safety Campaign was to increase speed enforcement on major highways and high-risk locations during a travel period when the rate of fatal crashes is highest throughout the Southeast. Murfreesboro Police Detective Julia Cox made history 2 years ago when she and her daughter became the first mother-daughter duo to work for MPD. Cox is now retired, but before taking off her gun and badge, she went on one final ride.
Last VIN is 77897, stolen out of RCSO.
It's the very last roll call for MPD Criminal Investigations Division Violent Crimes Unit Detective Julia Cox.
You ready to go hit the road? Let's go hit the road.
In her final ride on patrol.
Where did you used to work when you were on the road?
I was primarily 1 and 3.
She's riding shotgun with her daughter MPD officer Kara Treadway.
When I decided to go ahead and retire, I thought about, hey, I'd like to ride the streets one more time. And my daughter works here now. I thought, well, she's in patrol. I'll see if I can ride with her one day. And supervisor said that it was okay.
Like her daughter, Cox started her career at MPD on patrol. But being off the beat for many years, she found things have changed.
Definitely not used to working 10 hours because when I was working, it was only 8-hour shifts. So definitely an adjustment there.
Cox began working at MPD 15 years ago on the midnight shift as a patrol officer.
We had a lot of fun on midnight shift back in the day.
I bet.
She later became a field training officer and was promoted to property crimes detective and finished her career investigating violent crimes.
It's a bittersweet,
Detective Cox says she's been working since age 16 and now it's time for a break.
For me, it was more of quality of life. Just wanting to spend more time with family and grandbabies and friends and just take it easy for a while.
Cox and Treadway were the first mother-daughter duo to work at MPD. She was not just a mother, but a mentor. Lessons her daughter will take to the end of her career.
Treat it with grace, and how you react is how people are gonna, be towards you. So just take the situation as it is and try to stay calm as possible, and just get the job done at the end of the day.
This historic mother-daughter moment has come to an end in a good way.
Time to pass the baton on to her. She'll do great things and serve the city very well.
It's good to keep the legacy going. It's good that I had her here while I did, but I think it's time for me to be on my own and do it myself.
As Cox began her new laid-back chapter in life, she will always remember those she's leaving behind.
It's been an honor to serve this department and to serve this community, and I pray for those who are left here. My daughter, God will keep them safe, and I'll pray for them daily.
Detective Cox had a private retirement ceremony with family and her Criminal Investigation Division coworkers. The Murfreesboro City Council recently approved additional officer positions for MPD, so we're looking for a few good men and women who have the heart to serve.
For those with a heart to serve, those with a calling to protect, from serving our country to serving their community, the heart of Tennessee is calling.
United States Air Force.
United States Army.
United States Coast Guard.
United States Marine Corps. But this is my city.
My department. My home.
Protecting your city.
Your home.
Protecting the heart of Tennessee.
Grow with Murfreesboro Police Department. Be the difference.
Speaking of recruitment, there may have been a few future recruits who took part in our School Safety Division Junior Officer Summer Camp. Here's City TV's Steve Burris.
The Murfreesboro Police Department just held its Junior Officer Summer Camp. The camp is run by student resource officers from the School Safety Division. Our camp is focused on giving kids a glimpse of what it involves being a police officer, stated Sergeant Haley Shannon. We take a week and mix it with fun activities and classes. This was our third year hosting, and it was a great success. The last day of the camp is a trip to Burrow Beach for some fun and the sun.
They get to meet all of us because obviously they come from different schools. So we introduce the SROs, we introduce our command, our supervisors. We'll go to the police department, and then they get to see pretty much everything. All the small functioning pieces of the police department outside of what you see in your school as an SRO or as the patrol officers.
One of the popular areas for the campers is the firing range. They learn the type of training that takes place there and the strict safety rules that officers follow.
We show the firing range because one of the things that we do with the kids, they have a couple of different gun safety classes that they do. So when, not teaching them to use a firearm, but teaching them if you find a firearm, what do you do? Don't touch it, those kinds of rules. We show them the firing range just to show them how safe, even when we're training with our weapons. So we just show them all the different types of stuff that we can do inside of the range, where it's a controlled and safe environment to use our firearms.
What we learned is that the firing range is usually used for when officers need to do their firearm training again, and other stuff like target practice. they can have on different settings for like different times of day.
Another popular area is a tour through the officer's car. A lot of equipment is stored in the cars, and they explain what it's used for.
Some of our officers are FACT officers. Some of our officers are SWAT officers. So each one of our cars has different gear, and we have to show them where we keep that. As well as the Dodge Chargers, they're new to our division. We're the only division in the police department that uses Chargers. So it's super exciting for these kids to see these brand new cars that we've just got at the police department, and they get to see how we work the lights, how the sirens work, and just all the small moving pieces.
They have a computer to, like, if they're going out to a call, to know stuff about like the call, and then they have a spotlight, and of course there are lights and sirens in there.
Officer Reed talks about his main priorities of a student resource officer and the many hats they wear on the job.
Security is number one, keeping these kids safe. I take ownership with these kids. I refer to them as my kids. They are very special to me, and I want to make sure that they're safe, and as well as taken care of. These kids, they mean so much to me, and I know the other SROs. You have to have that switch to be able to turn off being a police officer and be that comforting adult that these kids need, as well as their defender, and turn it back on if, and hopefully never, when the situation arises that you have to use that.
You should do it because it's really fun. And I enjoyed it a lot because I want to be a police officer when I grow up.
The Junior Officer Summer Camp fills up fast. Be sure to visit our School Safety Division page on our website, murfreesborotn.gov/MPD. Before we go, we want to send a few shout-outs. A shout-out to our recent retirees, Detective Julia Cox and Officer Shondell Clark. A shout-out to the MPD Traffic Unit, who placed second in the 201 to 500 officer category and won a gift certificate for a Fatal Vision Alcohol Program Kit at the Tennessee Highway Safety Office 36th Annual Lifesavers Conference and Lifesavers Challenge Awards. A shout out to Sergeant Zachary Farrell, who was presented the Office of the Secretary of Defense Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve Patriotic Employer Award by Officer Jeremy Tackett. Service members get to choose one person in the workplace who supports the soldier while they are deployed. A shout out to all employees who were recently promoted, Officer Charles Speed and Detective Stephen Vashner to Sergeant. A shout out to Lieutenant Gary Carter, who received a special plaque commemorating 30 years of service.
Alexander Serrano.
A shout out to Rookie Officer Alexander Serrano, who graduated from the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy, Class 2033. A final shout out to 4 new MPD officers, Ethan Barnes, Tyler Washington, Skylar Hatfield, and Stephen Astrom, who graduated from the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy, Class 2049. Remember, we're here to serve and protect you. If you have any questions on the services the Murfreesboro Police Department offers, please give us a call at 615-849-2MPD or visit our social media pages. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time as we go behind the badge.